to.
Do you ever turn on your favorite podcast only to find out that it's been completely taken over by a former guest? Well, now you have. You've just logged into the Lynn Gamer Show. Welcome to the 3-Bit Gamer Show. I'm JD. I'm Peterson. I'm Spencer.
I'm Lynn?
Yeah.
Or I'm Lynn now.
We're
Yeah.
all Lynn.
I'm Lynn.
Can we play a little Lynn Highlander? Get out some swords and
The
see what
last
happens?
Lynn standing.
I am the only Lynn. Lynn, welcome back.
Thanks for
Welcome
having me, guys.
back.
We haven't had you on for a minute, but what have you been up to since you were on? What games are you playing?
Oh man, I feel like I'm always 2 years behind everybody else, but I
Story
just
of my life.
finished Breath of the Wild.
Oh, you finished it?
I bought a Switch just so I could play that game.
There
so
you
now
go.
I have a $400 Breath of the Wild machine.
That's what it's
Hey,
for.
I can
That's what
recommend lots
Spencer's
of games
thinking
to
of
you.
doing with
Oh.
the PS4
That's what it's
for
for.
God of War.
That's exactly what I'm thinking about doing.
A $400 God of War game.
Yeah, between that and Horizon, and that's really about it. There's not a lot of other exclusive titles I'm interested in terms of PS4. I mean, you have your Uncharted and stuff, but
Yeah.
I can go and shoot Indiana Jones style people anytime.
In real life, too.
Yep.
What else you playing?
Oh, that seriously has taken up all of my time.
Breath of the Wild?
Yeah. Overwatch still has its dirty little claws like in my brain. I
Hey,
can't stop.
how excited are you for the new
Have you
content?
done it?
Have
Oh,
you been
man,
playing it?
Not yet.
Ooh,
Not
it's
yet.
Why
good.
not?
I
It's
have
real
to
good.
like pace myself because I also started playing Far Cry 5 just barely,
Oh.
and
The
that is
addiction.
also really interesting and fun
Mhm,
and terrifying. I am staying so far away from Faith's region because she is horrifying. All of the people with their little clouds.
It is kind of terrifying. I just started her region.
Both you guys say this.
And I told JD, I was like, this is kind of horrifying. She just like shows up and like I see things and hear voices all the time.
It's not great. It's not
Yeah.
great. But so far, I'm really disappointed because I feel like it's really unrealistic because nobody in Montana looks that good.
I know.
Wow.
No,
Everyone is
everyone in the family,
way
in like
too
this
pretty.
Seed family, they're all like really well dressed and
know.
well put together.
I'm in like John's area now, and every time like I see his little loading screen, I'm like, well,
Like, he's
hello.
kinda handsome.
Yeah, this is
No,
good.
I think that's part of their cult.
Ah.
Is like one of the first guys they recruited was like a fashion dude,
Oh yeah.
and they're like, "Deck me out, hey, can
behind
you?"
the scenes of the cult.
So I want to carve gluttony into my skin. Could you make that look sexy? Oh yeah, we can do
He's
that.
like, oh no,
yeah,
we got this.
we can make gluttony look sexy.
Absolutely.
Shots fired, Montana.
And then like
No, my husband is
That
from.
is some shade.
No, my husband is from Montana, and he was like, "No one in Montana looks this good."
He's like, look at me.
well, and then Joseph Seed, right? He never wears a shirt,
Oh,
right? And that was part of the design. They're like, all right, well, you know what? You've got a pretty nice body. You've got all these things carved on you. Let's just no shirt it all the time. He's like, what if it's a little bit cold? No shirt it.
I call him father. I call him daddy.
Yeah,
oh
you
my
can
God.
call me
No,
daddy.
it's the father, not daddy.
Who's your father now, bitch? Oh man, Jess Black, that chick that was playing just today. That's what she was killing.
One of your side
cultists,
characters.
one of my side
One of your
characters.
side chicks.
She kills a cultist and she says, "Where's your father now?" And
Oh my
I'm like,
gosh.
Yeah, you got to pick her up. She is so cool.
She says the coolest stuff.
No, she says the most badass shit.
So how far are you into Far Cry though?
Like I just barely started, so I just got
Oh.
off the island. I want to try and find Peaches
Oh man.
because that's just going to
Peaches is
fulfill
a
a
cute little
lot
kitty.
of childhood fantasies of having a wild cat as a pet.
having a pet cougar.
It's good.
I think it's lame that you can't ride Cheeseburger, the bear. There's a bear in Far Cry 5, and I'm like, how do I not have a mount?
He's
How do
he's a noble creature.
Yeah, I should be able to put armor on him.
Saddle
I should
him?
be able to saddle him.
No. He doesn't. You can walk beside him, not riding on top of the bear.
Yeah, no, I don't need.
Hand in
a
Well,
hand.
it's like
walking companion.
He-Man and the Battle Cat, right? At some point, like there has to be some sort of trigger where it's like, oh, I'm not a nice noble bear anymore. I am your war bear. And you're gonna sit on my back, and we're gonna run through and just crush a bunch of Terrys.
Gotta kill Terry's. No, I think saddling a bear would be the most cool thing in like human history.
Dear game
Breath of
devs.
the Wild, you can do that.
Can you ride a bear?
In
Oh,
Breath of
yeah.
the Wild? Oh yeah. I tried to take it to a stable, and they were like, "Oh, okay, yeah, let's get your." That's not a
That's
horse.
not a horse.
Wait,
We cannot put
Blink.
shoes on this.
Yeah, and he's like, oh man,
Shucks.
Will you hammer some metal shoes into my bear's feet?
No.
No, we're not gonna
no,
do
I'm
that.
not gonna come
That's
near
awful.
the bear or hammer anything into him.
And all the horses in the stable are like, oh, there's a bear, there's a bear.
Who let this in here?
This is a
Idiots.
natural predator to us. We can't be around this.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad you're playing other games other than Overwatch. Peterson and I were playing the that Overwatch, the new, what is it called?
The single player.
Retribution?
Retribution.
Yeah.
It's so
It
fun.
looks fun.
Did you guys finally play it?
We did last
and I
night.
was
We got
playing
around in.
Sick.
I was playing. Is it Moira, the one with
Moira.
the hands?
Mm-hmm.
Because we played her at BlizzCon. She, I play Junkrat. Like I'm a Junkrat main. That's my jam. No,
Junkrat junkie.
Junkie.
Junkrat's my main too.
Junk-
It's fine.
That was really
Nice.
good.
You have to
That was really good. I gotta give Spencer. Ooh.
Hooray.
For Junkrat
Gong.
Junkie,
Junkrat
that's a good
Junkie.
one. That's pretty good.
Thank you.
Are you proud of yourself right
No,
now?
you guys know how I feel about Junkrat, but I played Moira, and Peterson will attest to this, for like 2 minutes, and I was like, I like her more than Junkrat.
She's
She's
great.
fun.
She is so cool.
He's
fun.
like, I love this, and he didn't even realize that he had the
The
ball he
ball.
could shoot.
I was
like,
just doing the
Wait,
hands
have you
and
shot
loving
the
her."
ball yet? And he's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I don't know the buttons, but
Dude,
like
yeah.
there's a way to switch to a ball. And he throws it out, and he's like, oh my gosh.
Side note, Peterson and I have been playing a lot of the same games together lately, and he plays on his PC with mouse and keyboard.
Oh.
And I play with a controller, and it has been the most hilarious thing. Peterson's like, "Oh, dude, bring up this wheel. Check out this menu." I'm like, "How do you bring it up?" He's like, "Well, you press Alt." I'm like,
Nope.
Yeah.
"Nope."
Dang it.
Can't
No,
do it.
I play Overwatch on a PS4, so
Nice, you get it.
it's fun. It's good.
I just want the controller. I just
I
want to
can't play shooters with a controller. I can't. I suck too bad at it.
Do you like carpal tunnel? Do you like?
Yeah, you
have
like
your
having
arms
little
look
claws?
Like
Have you seen my hands? My hands were built for that. They're just these.
They're these little
They're just
gnome
there.
Yeah,
hands.
they're just big, fat, short little.
Your hands are
Pickle
built
fingers.
for two things. Either playing mouse and keyboard shooters or like crafting weapons deep in a cave.
Yeah, or like crushing things, just like small things.
There are
They have
Yeah.
to
two
be small.
specific
Walnuts.
time periods where you
Walnuts.
were meant to be born.
You would have thrived in like Lord of the Rings times.
Yeah, no, that's legit. I could have been a
blacksmith.
dwarf for sure.
So let's move on. Lynn doesn't know about this. This is our new segment we've been trying to do because we realized our podcast is this like negative toxic
We just love to
dump.
like talk trash.
I thought that's why you guys invited me.
Oh, it is. It is.
Are you a
No.
black hole of
no,
just
there
human
is
suffering?
No, there's still a lot of toxicity, and
Our therapist recommended we try something positive.
yeah,
So-
Our group
Our group.
therapist.
We have a group therapist.
Just
Yep.
Dylan.
We have our.
Thanks, Dylan.
Dylan's like, Jesus, guys, dial it back. It's like,
Does anyone else think about dying a lot?
Yeah. It's like, how about some positivity?
yeah. So our positive segment that we decided is called kudos, and we want to try to give someone or something or anything kudos once an episode. So our kudos this week, someone has to take this over because I mean, I can't really. I have no knowledge on this.
In
The Utah
term-
Jazz.
The Utah Jazz. So at the start of the season, Utah Jazz predicted at the bottom of the NBA Western Conference, very much in the rebuilding phase.
We had lost that blood trader.
Well, I can't even remember his name anymore.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even want to say his name on air. Blood trader.
Gordon Hayward. They were good years.
Just
We
got
had a good
cold in
time.
here.
We had some good times last year's in playoffs.
Yeah.
And so this was supposed to be, again, you can't officially call it tanking. And the Jazz are in this really weird spot. Like they don't ever completely commit to winning in terms of Philadelphia, the 76ers, like they openly tank. They have this saying, trust the process, quote unquote. That means that we are going to purposefully lose for 3 years on purpose, and then we'll be good later. That's on
We're going to
T-shirts.
be the Washington Generals for 3 years, then no one's going to see it coming.
Yep. And I mean that's their deal. And so the Jazz have always just kind of been weird, but for whatever reason they hit the lottery this year. They've had great coaching, and now we're sitting 5th in the Western Conference in the playoffs.
And they started with a
Clinched
pretty
their
bad
division.
losing record, right?
oh yeah, it was 19-28 to start out the
Ooh.
year.
And now they're this is a huge swing.
They
I-
ended up 20 on the last few games. It was 25-4 5. I mean, they
That's
played
amazing.
phenomenal down the
25
stretch.
and 5.
Yep.
So because I'm not a Utah Jazz fan, I'm going to throw in some of my own kudos.
You are a Utah Jazz fan.
So-
how great was it to take your kids to that game?
It was fun.
There you
It's
go.
fun to go to any game, though.
You're just happy Malone's not playing.
Yeah. Carl Malone, if you're listening,
Go to hell. You're
He's
still on the
definitely
shit list.
listening
Still.
to
You're
this
still on
podcast.
the
you
shit
haven't even
list.
tried to get off of it. You haven't even reached out.
Haven't even reached out.
Karl Malone, do you even care what we think about you? Like, dude.
I love Karl Malone, so come on, don't care.
Spencer
Come on, don't
calls
care
him
about
after
jumpies.
every episode to apologize.
Hey,
Dude,
listen, buddy,
Carl,
real
I'm
sorry.
so sorry about this episode that's
Please
coming
stop
up.
calling me. Please stop calling
All right.
Karl Malone.
All right.
Call Carl.
Karl Malone doesn't
Don't
take
call
calls.
How did you get this number?
No, I got to give some kudos to an NHL team from my hometown of Las
Uh-oh.
Vegas. The Las Vegas Golden Knights.
Golden
in their
Knights.
debut season are in the playoffs.
They didn't even exist last year.
Yep.
And they're in the playoffs.
They're in the playoffs, and they're killing it. They're doing great.
They won their first playoff game last night, so
Yep.
a week and a half ago if you're listening to the
Yeah,
Sewed.
and obviously all my friends on Facebook and stuff are from Vegas, and so they're freaking out, and everyone's just real
a
thrilled
bunch of
about
bandwagoners.
it. So, bandwagoners.
There's like 6 square miles of Nevada that actually form ice naturally. So it's a really good place for an ice
for a
hockey team.
that's what everyone said. They're like a hockey team.
Could they not get a secure franchise in Arizona? like what
What
on
about
earth?
where's the New Mexico
The
team?
Death
Come on.
Valley.
The Death Valley Ice Dogs.
The arena just draws so much power. Just like there's a coal-fired power plant right next to it
Yep.
to keep it cold.
So congrats to the Jazz and to the Golden Knights.
Yeah, sports kudos.
You get our kudos.
I love when
Sports.
Jazz are doing well. I haven't been able. I think I was so deeply traumatized.
By Karl Malone stealing all your time at Lagoon. Yeah, me too.
Coaster.
By that one shot Michael Jordan made in 1998,
Heartbreaker.
he pushed off.
Especially if
He
you're
pushed
Brian.
off.
Especially if you're Brian Russell.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. So your highlight tape, right? The highlight that people see for years, for the rest of your life,
Is Michael Jordan cheating?
is you getting owned and just boop. That's your highlight. That's your legacy.
I remember like where I was. Like I was 10 years old. I was like living, eating, breathing like Salt Lake City in 1997,
a big deal.
1998. Like
deal.
it was the Jazz, and I haven't recovered quite yet. And they've burned me too many times. And then we have MFers like Gordon Hayward, and I have to go out and buy a freaking voodoo doll and like stab it in the ankle a bunch. Like
it
is-
worked.
It's,
It worked,
Like, it's a lot of
though.
work. It did work,
Yeah.
but it's a lot of work.
He's got a
So-
good voodoo guy.
the official
I got a good
stance
voodoo
of the
guy.
podcast: we do not root for injuries.
Yeah.
On people.
It had nothing to do
It's
with
not
the
rooting
voodoo
for
doll.
if you know it's going to come because you're
Wow.
poking that voodoo doll.
Wow.
Right in the ankle.
Yeah, so Karl Malone out, Blood Trader out. This kudos went really negative.
Our kudos always go negative.
We'd really like to have Gordon Hayward
We
on the
suck
podcast.
at
though.
we suck at kudos.
I can explain to Gordon Hayward why I keep calling him a Blood Trader.
Oh my god.
All right, well, let's move on to something that is going to be excessively negative.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Just
real positive. Positive segment next.
Yeah, this positive segment in which we talk about Ready Player One.
Well, the impetus for this episode is Lynn themed, right?
Yeah. No, I was like, it
there's
was
a
coming
reason
out.
Lynn is here today.
It was coming out,
Specifically
and I
today.
thought, and I said, guys, I'm going to go to Ready Player One with Lynn.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go see the movie, and then we're going to have her review it, because if you guys haven't heard, go back and listen
Episode 8.
to Episode 8, Lynn's episode. I think it's called the Lynn Bit Gamer
It's called
Show.
the One Bit Gamer
The
Show.
One Bit Gamer
'Cause
Show.
Lynn tried to take it over.
Yeah.
I
Lot
did
of
take
ambition.
it over.
Lot
I
of
did take it
ambition.
over. I succeeded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was not amused and not a big fan of the book.
No.
So I knew when they made the movie that we had to have her back on. So Lynn and I went to Broovies, which is a really cool local bar that does, you can order food and drinks and then go into the theater and eat and snack. And
So
What's
a
your
normal
content?
thing that's like in most other states is
is that a
only
thing?
at one place here in Utah.
Yeah, it's like the Alamo Draft House, right? That's like the same thing they do. They're pretty famous for. Yeah, so we went, and because I thought maybe we'll like it more if we're a little drunk. So we went pre-gamed a little bit, got
Why
a little
not?
buzz.
That's a great bar for content. I'm not going to like this with all my faculties. This is just going to suck.
Let's
But if
eliminate a few of them
I kind of take
and
the edge
see how it
off in a
goes.
few places. Maybe I'll like it.
Can someone
Maybe.
hit me in the head with like a boat paddle first, and then I'll go see the film?
You've been playing a lot of Far Cry. That
I
was the Far
have.
Cry reference.
Yes. So I have to say,
Let's
this
start it
was
off.
the worst movie I've seen, and I've paid to see in the last 10 years of my life.
10 years.
Oh man.
Damn.
That I
Big,
paid to
bold
see. I've
claims.
seen bad movies.
Have you seen the new Rampage movie?
No, but I want to.
Oh,
How dare
gosh.
you? I loved the prequel to that movie. What was it called? San Andreas?
Oh my gosh. It does look like San Andreas
Uh-huh.
Part 2. Like
Yeah. It's The Rock.
aftermath.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's just, I'm pretty sure The Rock plays the same character, except for he has a
Yeah.
monkey in this one.
Yeah, he plays the same character in most movies,
Uh-huh.
which he's
One-
lovable, so I'm okay with that.
One segment at a time.
Okay.
Ready Player One. We have an actual show here with content.
No, I think I did this right because right before we saw Ready Player One, I went and saw Pacific Rim Uprising, and that set the bar so fucking low that when I went and saw Ready Player One, I was like, yeah, you know what? Not
Nothing
so bad.
can disappoint
Not
me
so
now.
bad compared to the giant pile of crap that was Pacific Rim Uprising.
So it wasn't good?
No, don't go see it. If you want to see like a hollow fanficky version of Pacific Rim, go see Pacific Rim Uprising.
Okay.
That's a different segment. But I will say that I appreciated in Ready Player One the fact that like, oh, Steven Spielberg knows how to direct an action sequence. I watched that and was entertained, and
Sure.
it flowed well, and it was fun. Versus
John
what I had seen
Boyega.
before.
Line and line and line. Okay.
So JD, give us your take. Give us some of your takes. What did you come out of that movie?
Here's my review.
Stop
I'll
twitching.
keep it,
Just nice
yeah,
and
I'll
easy.
keep it to
Keep
like a
that blood
couple. I'll keep it to a
pressure
couple minutes.
He's got like a disgusted look on his face too. Like
Yeah.
he was sitting there while Lynn was talking with this disgusted look on his face.
because
like,
I'm looking at my
reading
notes.
through his notes.
Grinding his teeth a little bit.
I'm like, here's the thing.
Well,
This is the same guy. This is the same guy that directed Schindler's List, which is like what I can't let myself forget. And it's like he fell down 16 flights of stairs head first and then was like, I can't get ready to make this the next movie. Like, that's where we're at now. Like,
Oh my
Steven
gosh.
Spielberg with, like, severe brain damage. That's who made this movie. So we'll just start it from the beginning. The car race.
Oh.
So, okay, I can ignore it. I can ignore the fact that it completely changed the first key. Oh, we have to say right now, spoilers. This is all spoilers. If you haven't seen Ready Player One and you want to,
Or read the book.
Why?
No. If you've read the book, you're fine because this is nothing like
No,
the
no.
book.
If you want to read the book,
Oh.
if you're interested in the world,
yeah,
the lore,
if you
the
want to
content.
read the book, don't listen to JD's
fast
review.
forward until like you don't hear like a lot of negativity in anyone's voice.
That's never going to happen.
Well, that will be done through this segment. So
It'll
that's
be the
spo-
end of the episode.
Yeah,
spoilers.
it'll be the
We're
end
gonna
of the
spoil the
podcast.
shit out of this. But starting off, so the first challenge, the key, whatever, they replaced it with car race because I guess Michael Bay was directing the first half of the film and was
Michael
like,
Bay owned the rights to the first key.
yeah. And he's like, well, let's not do something that's like interesting. Let's not do something that reveals something about the character. Let's just do a big dumb car race. And so
Which, mind you, why that is so stupid, because they made the other two keys so centered about the creator's life, but key one, nothing. No, it's
yeah,
just
the
a car race.
key one's like, yeah.
No.
Okay,
just a
so
car
yeah,
race.
so there are so many problems with this car race, but the biggest thing that really upset me when I look back on it is that it is wholly unbelievable, and it shows that Spielberg doesn't understand video games
or
at all.
gamers. Or
Gamers.
Yeah.
In that, okay, so you have this thing that all you have to do in this race is drive backwards. Okay, so no one that did this race has ever played Mario Kart or any racing game ever in their entire life.
In the future, trolls don't exist.
No.
In the future, people are all so stupid.
They follow all the rules.
It blew my mind because it shows that Spielberg is like, yeah, gamers, it would take like such a crazy gamer getting the best clue and hint in the world to even fathom how he could beat this. And it's like, No, it would take the subreddit
take some
dedicated to the race.
The subreddit would take
12 minutes, and then be like, "Hey, I figured it out."
Hey, did anyone go backwards? Oh, let's just do that.
Has anyone gone backwards? You can go backwards in a car. No, so that one, I was like, "This is awful," and I hated it, and it put me on tilt. But I keep telling myself, like, "Dude, you can't do this. You can't follow this like self-fulfilling prophecy of hating this film going into it and then hating it because you thought you would hate it." And so I'm like, okay.
I will say, like, the car race, independently of any other factors, it was like cool visuals. Like, it looked good.
Yeah.
Disagree.
And it was cool, but it was cool, but
it was too much. There was too much going on.
In the context of the movie, it was just so stupid.
Sorry, you said that there's too much going on. Did you read the book where it's like every stupid pop culture reference is being written out, and then I had a DeLorean and I decided to put these Ghostbuster stickers on it? I would argue that what made the movie better than the book was that all of that really cool pop culture stuff and remembering the 80s is all in the background, and you can just like watch and see it, and oh cool, like this, there's like Master Chief and all this other stuff that's not being explicitly written.
Yeah, you're not like reading
and
it
shoved in your face.
Yeah, you're like, oh, okay, yeah.
Which was my big criticism with the book, was I got so sick of hearing about how awesome the 80s was and having paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs written about how great the 80s was and all of the 80s references in this dumbass game.
Okay, that's fair. But I kind of was like, okay, first act, car race, stupid. I mean, here's the thing. In the book, he's stuck on this planet where he can't get off because he has no money, and it's the school planet, and it explains how he has the little visor set, and it explains how he has access to this, but he can't get off, and then, everything goes great, and he's rich, and he has money, and he has access to, like, different worlds and stuff, and there's a lot, and then it explains the creator put this first key on that free planet, and it had significance why he put it there, so anybody could access it. So anybody could find it. Not anybody that could afford a super nice car, which where does the kid get a DeLorean? Like,
well, they made reference in the movie. It was like wrecked, or it was like a second-hand type of a deal. Like, I'm agreeing with you on that, but they kept making fun of him because he had all of his junky stuff, right?
But
yeah,
he
was
needed
poor.
to be even more poor to match the book. Like, the level of the book, he couldn't go anywhere and do anything with his friends.
Yeah,
that's
fair.
Anything.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous,
like,
to the
he's
point
sleeping,
where
so
he wasn't poor enough.
Well, it doesn't
guys.
make sense
Come
because
on.
he's sleeping on his aunt's washer and dryer, which he did in the book.
Yeah.
But he can also afford he could probably sell that car in the virtual world and get some decent cash for it.
That's like, that's a stretch. Like, I'm not gonna monetize things like.
Well, in the book, that was how it worked. So I was like,
that's
whatever,
fair. That's fair.
whatever, Jonathan. Second act, let's do it. It's okay. It's not terrible. It was kind of Spielberg. It wasn't like Spielberg quality, but I was like, okay. Like, the second act was okay.
What do you mean the second act? What parts?
Good question. I was just like, I was
Like,
so underwhelmed.
After he gets the egg, after he gets the first key, and now which, by the way, was so funny because he's all of the sudden famous, but they don't ever really say that. It's like, all of a sudden he goes to the library and like, you can't be here. You're famous now. But there's no, like, reference to him being famous or getting money or anything. It's just all of a sudden he can buy stuff and he's famous.
They said that he got some cash, but it wasn't. He was on the leaderboard, but that was
there's
really
no
about
description of that. He's just on the leaderboard, and then they're like, he's like, I'm going on a shopping spree.
Yep.
Which
And it
in
was
the
like,
book,
well,
and
why?
it's so easy.
What
There's so
happened?
many things that could have been explained
Pretty easily. Like,
really easy. One line of dialogue. Oh, he has which was in the book. He had sponsorships.
Yeah.
And all he had to do was like mention their product on an announcement, and he made a couple $1,000. And it was like, Spielberg's like, no, more explosions, more dumb stuff. Like,
well, and then, so here's what I hated then. The clue, so he goes to this library, right? And he goes to get the second clue. It's super, the way he gets it is so, I mean, it's just forced in there. Like, in the book, and I get it. It's a movie, you got to shorten it up. But in the book, he's like having a really hard time solving these clues. He's on the leaderboard for a long
takes him
time.
months.
Yeah, and then he just goes in there and he's like, oh, and it's so obvious in the dialogue. Like, the character they're watching like this video playback, right? Character looks right at the screen and he's like, oh, maybe you. And it's just like, come on. They just told you. You mean nobody in
you're
5
telling
years?
me there's not 65,000 posts on the subreddit picking that.
Yeah,
have you guys
that's-
never been
that's
on the
pretty
Game
funny.
of Thrones subreddit?
Yeah, like,
Jesus
come on.
Christ. They have picked apart every single word, every single line that George R.R. Martin wrote, and
And here's the thing: it's this whole big social media gaming type of environment, right? But they haven't captured what those environments are like for real at all. They've kind of ignored all of that for the story, which I guess is fine, but it's kind of obnoxious, right? They could have done it. It just felt lazy.
And
to
so
me.
then the third act starts, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm finally kind of enjoying this. There's like battles going on. There's some conflict. There's stuff that's like pretty cool
The
and
battle
fun
scene.
to watch.
The battle scene's awesome.
The shoehorned romance made me like sick to my stomach. You have some thoughts on that, Lynn?
Yeah, Lynn just takes this deep breath.
That was probably my biggest issue with this whole entire movie was the really forced romance. That was my also big issue. Well, not the big issue with the book because I never finished it and got to the point where he actually met her. But the forced romance was really terrible. And what also kind of really bugs me is that I'm kind of going to jump a little bit to the end of the movie.
Go for it.
Where the whole entire focus was, oh, maybe you're spending too much time in the Oasis. Maybe you need to
we have some thoughts.
reconnect with what is real and reality. So he meets Artemis for real sooner than later in the movie. He
Yeah,
meets her like
yeah.
halfway through, and he's like, "Oh, your birthmark means nothing to me. You're so beautiful."
But
And-
she's only, she gets to feel
Yeah.
beautiful because he tells her it's
and,
okay.
And before that,
Fuck
he
you.
like meets her and is saying that he loves her, and she's like, "You don't even know who I am. Like, you've never met me before." And then he meets her, and then instantly we completely ignore that was a thing. Like, we recognize that it's a trope and it's a shitty trope, and then we do nothing to address it whatsoever or to try and like have more character arc or explain how they actually become more romantically involved. None of that. She just ends up like a prize at the end of the movie,
Yeah.
sitting on his lap in like her weird dress, and it's really shitty. The best part though was at one point I was sitting next to Jenna in the theater, and when they meet for the first time and he's like touching her face or whatever, I just slowly started sinking down in my chair like this because it was so painful.
Yeah.
And
it's-
Jenna like looks over at me and is like, "Are you okay?" And I'm just like, "No."
No, I'm far from okay.
Far from okay.
So the romance, like, I guess I can ignore, although I'm getting really, really sick of every single Hollywood movie thinking that there needs to be a romance. Like, I'm like,
Like
okay.
all the movies have to shoehorn a romance into it.
Like, I get it. It was in the book, but I'm like, okay, gag, yuck. Who cares? Whatever.
They
Like
had,
if there's something
they
they're
were-
gonna cut because for time, cut that.
No,
there
cut
was,
all
like-
the explanations and world building instead.
There was like zero chemistry between the two of them. There was like,
Yeah.
I still am stuck on this idea. Like, why does Artemis even like Wade in the first place? What is there that's appealing about him at all?
Because he's
At
famous.
all.
because
got
he
money
said her
and girls
birthmark's
are-
okay.
Yeah, and girls like guys with money, right?
Yeah.
Right?
He's rich.
Rich bitch.
Like I don't. You're right. There's no explanation for really any of it.
No, and it would have made me less mad if it just had been like, "Oh, you're interested in me, but we're busy doing this thing." But they spent time to be like, "But you don't know me," and I was like, "Oh, cool. Are they going to?" Nope, they don't address it at all, and then the story goes on.
Or even if like
and-
you could tell there was something, and like at the end, they're kind of just like, she puts her head on his shoulder or something. But no, he's like, "I love you."
yeah.
Oh, this is
and you're like,
intense
wait, what?
love.
Wow.
It's because your birthmark's okay, babe. Totally okay, babe. The birthmark thing is so.
So okay, so what I liked the big battle fighting scene, and I thought that was really cool. The visuals were great. It just looked really fun, right? It was a fun thing, and it was long, and it was good. I liked there was this sequence where there's a bunch of people fighting, and then I think a bomb went off or something, and then now they're driving around in the real world, and they're seeing all these people with their virtual reality masks
Which
on,
is
and they're
unreal.
fighting.
It's so
And then at
stupid.
the end, they're like, "Oh, they're just walking around and stuff." And I was like, like if you were fighting in VR
Yeah.
on the street, you'd be like punching people and
Or falling
and
into the street and
fall-
getting hit by
a
things.
car. But so that was silly. But I like how they showed that like everyone was kind of getting engaged with this whole big battle, and everyone was having fun with it. So that was probably my favorite part of the movie. I hated the characters. I hated how in the book, it was like this competitive friendship. You know, they all kind of wanted to be first, but it was like this. It was this weird kind of tense relationship. In this, they were like, "Oh no, we're best buddies now." Because I don't know why. I don't know why.
It did not explain the friendships whatsoever.
Yeah, they just like, oh, we're friends because.
And they don't exist beyond just helping Wade do what Wade does.
Helping Wade do stuff. Yeah, they're all like.
They're a support team.
They're a support team. And so, anyways, I mean, there was some cool action, some cool shots, you know, some fun things. But for me, I left the theater annoyed, and here's why. It was this futuristic action movie, and here's how it ended.
Wait. Before the ending.
Okay, go.
I want to talk about the car chase and all that.
You love the car chase.
It was so unnecessary. It was so masturbatory.
He's talking about their Wade's in the van.
Oh, I'm like
in the back of the van in VR finishing.
This is what
all
happened.
The challenge.
Spielberg had someone explain the book to him via text message. That's as much as this guy looked into the book. And he's like, dude, what if he's like hanging by like ropes in the van and then he kicks somebody? And then he wrote an entire 30-minute scene to make that happen. And he wrote an entire character. That girl that jumps in the van, who is a faceless, nameless, functionless character, he wrote her just so she could get kicked out of the van by Wade in his VR setup, weird, stupid, nonsense bullshit. And I don't know why that was necessary. Why was the car scene
Why were they
there?
even
Why
driving?
were they driving? That was the first thing Jenna
They got caught because they were driving.
They were parked in a safe place, and Wade didn't need to worry about being swung around on ropes. And they're like, and it doesn't even explain it. One scene they're parked, and then the next scene they're just
like,
driving.
all right, let's go. Let's move.
Okay, go. You talk about why the end annoyed you.
So the end. You know, Wade gets the key, the final key, puts it in the lock after some obnoxious struggle. He puts it in the lock, and he turns it, and the bad guy shows up in real life. Like, he shows up in real life, and there's the crowd
and this
around
bad guy
him.
is so shallow.
Bad guy shows up, and he points a gun at him, and then then nothing happens. And then, but just like these really bad early 90s movies, when I say really bad, I'm talking like Three Ninjas. They're like purposefully bad.
Anything
Air
Seagal
Bud,
was in.
Just like the movies that are not supposed to be serious at all. You know what I mean? It's three little kids who are ninjas, right? The bad guy.
Thanks for explaining the plot to Three Ninjas for us.
Spoiler alert for Three Ninjas.
My bad.
Awesome.
My bad.
Thank you.
Little fat kid. Tum Tum. And so that movie ends. Look. Ending of Three Ninjas. Bad guy who's been torturing the kids.
Three Ninjas is
gets
so
thrown
sick.
into the back of a police car, and the sidekick, you know, his number 2 gets thrown in there with him. A witty sidekick quip against him, like, "Yeah, you did this," and then everyone laughs. Doors get shut. They get driven off. Cheering crowd, and the kids are like, "Yeah, that is exactly how Ready Player One ended."
Schindler's List.
With the cheesy
Schindler's List.
With the cheesy
You know
music.
he made other movies besides Schindler's List, right?
Yeah, a lot of
just so we're clear. E.T., Hook. Like,
With the
he's made a
cheesy
lot
music.
of other cheesy kid movies.
And that's the
Schindler's
thing,
List.
though. It ended like that, and the tone, it was like a different tone all of a sudden. All of a sudden, there's police in this world. Like, all this crap has been happening. He's been literally hounding these kids. No one thought to call the cops when they're sending a group of SWAT team in to shoot these people and kidnap them.
Nope.
Nobody thought to call the cops. And then at the end,
now the cops have
the cops
authority.
come in and they're like, "Oh, we got you now." And then they put him in the back of the car, and he's like, "Oh, you got me."
And then they have the little scene where they keep opening the back of the van over and over
he
again.
shuts it, and they opens it, and someone else is there. And
Who on, like, there were multiple people involved on set that day when Spielberg's like, "Okay, camera here, and I want you to open the door," and then be like, "Oh no, someone else is knocking," and everyone's like, "Yeah, good job, Steven. Like, that's a great idea."
let's do that. Well, you got to close it because then you got to kiss the girl, and then someone else knocks, and you got to open the door, and then you got to.
Yuck, yuck, yuck.
Oh no, another one.
Oh, someone else is knocking. Yuck, yuck, yuck.
Have you seen my Oscars?
Yeah.
No,
and you
I-
don't deserve any of them.
So
Well.
you can tell how fun it's been around here lately.
Retroactively, take them back. Yes.
Yeah, so
This has been just the worst.
I think I had a hard time with it because I actually did enjoy reading the book. I liked the tone.
Did you read the book?
I listened to the book.
Okay.
I love the
liked
book.
the tone and everything, and the tone wasn't even the same from the movie to the book.
No.
The movie was an action movie, and the book was not an action. I mean, there were action sequences in it, but it was more of a thriller. He's trying to solve a puzzle mystery.
It resembled war games a lot, and that was the second or third key in the book, was that he had to recite all of war games.
War games, yeah.
And I think that it borrowed pretty heavily from war games, but this was not like war games. This was not like...
Well, they didn't have a Matthew Broderick ready to go.
Yeah, they need a Matthew Broderick.
So at the end of the day, I think for me, this is one of those things that just the realization that no film based off of a book is ever going to live up to the world building created in a book, right?
Right.
I mean, everyone, that's the whole thing, right? Everyone goes in, oh man, hope it's as good as a book. No, never, ever, ever is this ever going to happen once.
I like Jurassic Park, who was also Spielberg.
Well, there's a good Spielberg reference for you. But in terms of world building,
Yeah, 16 flights of stairs ago.
This, you just put dinosaurs in an amusement park. Like, that's not world building. This is like these extremely deep cut 80s references upon references, like Lynn was saying, paragraphs after paragraphs. You're never going to get that in a movie. The best reviews or the best insights I got from different reviews were talking about, for the first key, you can't have a guy go and play D&D like on the screen and have be this action sequence. I'm agreeing with you guys.
Yeah.
The movie did it more poorly or did a worse job recreating it. But you think about translating from one media to another. I'm actually going to go and say this is another plug for video games in terms of an artistic media.
Ooh, a video game of Ready Player One.
You could be able to experience more of the world in that type of way instead of shoehorning it into an hour and 45 minutes. So I didn't like the movie as it compared to the book. The movie itself was okay. A lot of the criticism you guys offered, I think, is fair. Just don't even expect it to have that same flavor.
Spencer was the moderating tone here. He was going into it thinking it was going to be awesome, telling Peterson and I we were being silly and over. Like when Peterson
I was
and I
excited
were,
for it.
Yeah, he was really excited, and Peterson and I were getting down on the trailers, and we were like, "This looks like it sucks. You guys are judging a book off its cover. You're being dumb. Just wait for the movie. It's Spielberg. It's going to be great." And Spencer was still very underwhelmed.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, it's a good popcorn movie. It's a good movie to go see with friends, whatever. But at the same time, the purpose of this podcast is to nitpick. Well, not nitpick, but go deeper.
Yeah.
To go deeper. And if you go deeper, you find flaws.
Yep.
But I agree with you, though. Ernest Cline, built an awesome world. And it sucks that the movie was not the right place to explore it more.
Yep.
His big flaw was characters. His characters sucked. And
Yeah.
surprise, when you bring those characters into a movie, they suck even more.
Well, this is actually really good in terms of segueing into the next segment, video game movies. I think this disconnect between the mediums is really what that is. Everyone's been waiting for this great video game movie. It won't happen yet until you get some characters in a video game that are worth having a movie about. Right? Like Lynn, I thought that was a perfect analysis. Ernest Cline did an amazing 80s sit down, pat on the back, right?
Yeah.
Everything
Exactly
was so great about the 80s, but the characters were just basically a symbol representing a name. They weren't anything. The characters were so shallow. You could have named them anything and had them been anything else. All they wanted to do was see, hey, remember that really cool Thundercats
Right.
episode?
You guys remember?
Remember how cool that was? So, yeah, in a lot of ways, this is a book that was really cool to read, but was ill-suited to make a movie because he just did such a real crappy job with that.
By the way, Ernest Cline, I'm going to go ahead and say, and this is not uncommon. He is not a great writer.
No.
Right? So the allure of Ready Player One, the book, is exactly what you were saying. It is the
world.
80s references and
Yeah,
all that
it was
stuff.
awesome.
That's fun. But the rest of it, he's not a good writer.
No.
So
And
go ahead.
Okay, go. Nope, you're good.
My final thing is that I feel like the last line of the film, the last
we gotta mention this.
It not only like we'll get in. Peterson has criticisms of it, but my criticisms of it is that it shows Spielberg's utter old bitter man contempt for the subject of his film, which is video games and people who play them. It's like Spielberg, just like a big middle finger at the end of the movie that no one seems to mind, especially in the gamer community. They're like, "It was awesome. I love seeing the Iron Giant and all this shit." I'm like, no, did you miss the message of the film, which was get off your fat fuck asses and get outside in the real world because video games suck?
Yeah.
That's like, it was so condescending. It was so in your face. And it's like, we're going to shut down this thing that drives the entire world economy for 2 days because it's in the hands of a dumb teenager who also
Who's getting laid now.
Oh, he's like, yeah, this is awesome.
So of course reality is going to be preferable to him when he has like a hot chick on his lap.
At what point when they're like making out and they're just going to start getting it on, he like rubs her face. He's like, babe, this is totally cool. It's totally cool you have this thing on your face. I don't mind this at all. Like, how often does he bring that up?
Yeah.
Just so you know, this thing that you're super self-conscious about, I don't mind because
I
I'm
don't
that much of
mind
a
it.
white knight to you.
So
yeah,
at the
babe,
end,
it's okay, babe.
but just in case you didn't catch it, at the end, he says, "You know what? Reality's real and great. So we're going to shut down the Oasis every Tuesday
In the book,
and
reality
Thursday."
was not great.
No, he says every Tuesday and Thursday they shut down the Oasis. This is like classic rich guy, like move.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Here's what I think Spielberg missed. Because
he had the book
Oasis,
described to him in a text message.
The Oasis was a huge part of the real world economy now. There are full businesses that ran on the Oasis. Kids went to school in the Oasis, and he just shut it down every Tuesday and Thursday. It started off as a video game. It is not just a video game anymore, though. This is people's lives.
It's the backbone of the world economy. That's how he describes it.
And he's like, you know what? Every Tuesday and Thursday, off. You can't even get onto it.
And also completely ignoring the reason why the Oasis became part of the world economy because reality was so shitty. Everything was so terrible that everyone wanted to escape into an oasis.
And so now these kids say you're in school, you've got an assignment due Wednesday, a report due Wednesday. You cannot log into the Oasis to do some research for your assignment.
You know, that's what really makes me pissed off about this whole entire thing. How are kids going to do their school assignments?
No, it was just a fundamental misunderstanding of the world that he was supposed to be working in. And at the end, he's like, you know what? Reality's better. We're going to shut it down for 2 days a week. And it's going to be hard, but you know what? We think it's going to be great because you have money. That's why it's going to be
and
fine.
a hot girl on his lap.
Well, yeah, but she's got that birthmark.
Oh,
Did
so
you know?
He's
But
cool
it's
with it.
okay.
He's cool with it.
Totally fine, babe.
cool with it.
Babe, it's okay to have a birthmark, babe.
All right, so let's.
are we coming in a solid
2 out of 10.
I would say solid 8.5. Like just a classic review
Go
score.
out and see Ready Player One, you guys. Play full price for it.
They
Maybe
paid
see
us
it
for
twice.
this. They paid us for this.
That's why we can't get sponsored.
because you like
we'll
nothing.
for anybody.
Please don't talk about our stuff.
They could pay us not to talk about it. I'm okay with that.
Oh my God.
We're gonna blackmail
Yes, blackmail.
Yep.
You want us to hate on your movie? Then give us money.
them, and we won't even mention it. All right, so Spencer kind of brought this up.
Yeah.
So video game movies, because right now,
It is the year
There's
of
a
the video
bunch.
game movie.
yeah,
You've got games that are you've got movies that are movies and TV shows kind of, because I want to mention the Black Mirror episode,
Yeah.
the Star Trek one. There's a lot of like media that's like movie and TVs that are based on video games,
like an actual game.
and then there's a lot that are being inspired by video games, which is Ready Player One, kind of inspired by gaming. Jumanji,
The new Jumanji.
Wreck-It Ralph, like that's not based on anything,
not
but
based
it's
on- but
inspired
it's-
by gaming. The Black Mirror episode, and then you also have what we've always had all along, which is adaptations. So Tomb Raider, Duke Nukem was announced with. Is it John Cena?
Yep.
John Cena.
It should have been Hulk Hogan.
Oh my gosh, have you seen him lately?
No, it should have been past tense, like a long time ago. Mario, there's a Mario
There's
movie,
an animated Mario movie.
and then Rampage.
That one.
Rampage.
So I think you guys are way too salty
Be
about a lot of
careful.
things. This one kills me. This absolutely
Watch it,
grinds
watch
my
it.
gears. Can't stand it.
Watch what
Wait,
you say about Rampage.
You can't stand the Rampage movie?
Yes.
No, I think it looks so stupid.
No. This
You guys can both go to hell.
this is just. I can't even what. How does a movie studio like not have any ideas? You come in for your Wednesday, your weekly Wednesday. Okay, guys, ideas. We need to get some ideas. Oh crap. What we don't have anything original, and I haven't gotten in touch with any authors. They won't write me back. They're waiting for Spielberg to make it. What do we have? I remember this game that we used to play and
in a movie theater. Everyone was always playing it in
Can
movie
you think,
theaters.
No, they're like, what's a really cheap IP that we can get our hands
What
on?
is a
That-
free
that's-
IP?
that's
What is in the
that has
public domain
got
because
to
it's
be
so
it.
cheap?
That has got to be it. Like this game has nothing to do with anything. No story. Nothing.
It's a kaiju movie.
Nothing.
Monster-
It's a kaiju game. Everyone loves kaijus
in the
right
game
now.
Rampage, if you're not, you should be familiar with it. You
this
essentially
kills me.
you play a gigantic monster, and the whole purpose is you just walk in and
It's
you
a
just
side-scroller.
smash.
It's a side-scroller,
Smash
left to right.
buildings, smash cars, smash helicopters, eat
And
people.
you get points. Oh, and eating people, and then you
That's
can
how
do
you
it
get
with
health back.
Yeah, and there were famous,
Naturally.
like there were characters in it that are now in the movie. I don't know.
Loosely. Yeah, that is the biggest gym cut ever. Like that was just perfect. Like this one, this is the most shallow game in existence. Like there is nothing here to make a movie with.
It's like a pinball game.
I mean,
Pinball the movie.
pinball.
They made a Battleship movie. It's like Pinball the movie.
They did make a Battleship
It's similar
movie.
to Battleship. Okay,
No,
so
Battleship is a little less complex.
I
Slightly.
can't even believe. And then they have this whole relationship with the monkey and the rock. I can't.
The
handle
Rock
it.
I
and the
don't
monkey.
think. Here's my
I
thing.
can't handle it.
I do not think Dwayne the Rock Johnson can do any wrong. Period.
If you
I
give
think
him
that
this
guy,
movie and it makes anything more than $10,
it's like him,
he's the best.
him and Keanu Reeves. I'm like, I don't care.
Here's the
I
thing
will
about
see
the
and
Rampage
love
movie.
your
though.
movies.
You've seen the trailer. You know exactly what you're gonna get.
It's sick. There's a
It's
wolf.
monkey
There's a
turns
wolf that's like a
giant.
flying squirrel version of a wolf.
He's gonna go in and be like, the monkey's gonna try to save everything because the Rock and the monkey have this relationship from way back in the day.
Spoilers? The
Yeah.
I haven't
hell?
seen the movie.
Yeah, well, quit spoiling it.
And they're fighting a gigantic crocodile, which is Lizzie, right? And
I'm
and they're
reading
fighting
the script,
gigantic
and you're
wolf.
just going right down the list here.
Yeah,
on Plot Point.
Nostradamerson. Jesus,
Just
dude, give
dial
it a break.
back.
Some people might
Unbelievable.
want to see the film.
You already know what it's about. You already know what's gonna happen.
But like, okay, I think what makes people, or what makes me frustrated about the idea of a Rampage movie, it's like out of all of the video games,
All the games.
out
Just
there
pick one.
in the
No,
world,
just
Jason's
Dartboard
right.
one.
It's a
That
cheap
is the
IP.
one that you
It's the
chose.
cheapest IP.
probably.
No, dude, because it's The Rock. It's the same guy that did San Andreas with The Rock, which was so dumb. And I just devoured that film. I loved every second of it.
Did
You
you
wanna
like
talk
call
about
in a
popcorn
favor?
flick?
You were like, "Hey, director of San Andreas."
Yeah.
I don't know who that
The
is.
Rock is always going to do Make-A-Wish kid stuff. If you shave your head, you go to a hospital,
Oh my gosh.
you can get him to make a Rampage movie. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, I think Lynn had the point. Like, just any game, any other game but this. But unfortunately, Peterson has the answer. Like this
It's
is
the IP.
That's really about it. Like, what can
Was
we,
it who was it? Midway.
Midway.
It was Midway.
Who's now
and they don't
bankrupt.
even exist.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So I'm sure like someone
We've cracked
somewhere.
the code. We've got it.
Yeah.
It
World's
says
cheapest
the
IP.
first line of the Wikipedia entry: Midway Games was
Womp
an American
womp.
video game developer. Midway's
Womp
franchises
womp.
include. Yeah, so it was probably super duper cheap.
I
They
can't
knew-
understand.
You
them.
know what you're getting into: giant monsters, people destroying
Dude,
stuff.
I will
It's
see.
gonna be a
I love
popcorn
kaiju
flick.
movies. I love all of
If you
them.
watch it one time, you'll be like, there's no surprises. There's not gonna be any surprises or big twists. You know exactly what it is.
Well, if
That's-
John Peterson isn't your friend, apparently there's this huge human monkey subplot that's woven intricately throughout this.
That was in the trailer. George,
Loosely.
George, you know me, George. Well, George is like ripping to shreds a
I would like to
huge
see
tanker.
like a Power Rangers style thing where the Rock gets access to some crystal or something that makes him super large, and then
already
he
pretty
has a
big.
showdown fight, like physically with the monsters.
Can
and
we
he's like a
call
super
the crystal HGH?
HHGH.
Yeah.
Huge human growth.
So speaking of The Rock, though, he was in another movie that we mentioned. Another video game
Jumanji.
themed movie.
Was he good in that?
Jumanji.
I haven't seen it. Did you like that?
Dude, okay, so I saw Jumanji.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was fun.
It's a fun movie. It is just like the old Jumanji, right? It was just fun to watch.
Yeah.
Kind of, but this one was definitely funnier because it's got The Rock. It's got Kevin Hart, who's hilarious in it.
And
Jack Black
nailed it.
So the premise is these 4 kids go to detention. They're nothing alike, the jock and the nerd and the pretty and the nerdy girl and the popular hot girl. And then they all go to detention. They don't really like each other and stuff, and then they get sucked into this Jumanji video game, and they're put into a character that's nothing like them. So like the hot girl is now Jack Black,
And he
and that's
freaking
actually
nails
so
it.
funny because he's talking like her the whole time.
God damn it, Peter.
He's talking like her the whole time, and it's really funny. It's really funny. Kevin Hart's character.
I just got to say recently that Spencer and I had a very long, drawn-out argument with Peterson in which Peterson argued tooth and nail.
Yeah.
And he stuck he staked his whole reputation on the idea and the argument that Jack Black is not funny.
No, I don't think he's funny.
Hey, Lynn, how funny is Jack Black in Jumanji?
So funny.
He's funny in
He was the,
Jumanji.
like,
Wait. Hey, Peterson, how funny is Jack Black in Jumanji?
I didn't say he never has done anything funny in his life.
No. That's
No.
what happened. That's how this came out.
We can't
No,
do this
it's
again.
not.
I was so upset. This was like the most upset I think I've ever been at you when you argued that Nick Offerman, Jack Black,
I did not say Nick Offerman.
Captain Raymond Holt from the
No.
Brooklyn
Raymond Holt
Nine-Nine.
from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
This all started because I was saying that I thought who was the one who I started with?
It's the
Craig Robinson.
Yeah.
He's not funny.
So
Don't know who that
stupid.
is.
You were saying
Craig
the
Robinson from
stupidest
The Office.
shit.
He's
This
you
is
watch
the
The
stupidest
Office?
thing you've ever said.
Anyway, at me. Go ahead and at me on this.
Please, at John Peterson, johnpeterson@hotmail.com.
So, anyway.
get in this.
Anyway, Jumanji, though, we'll get back on topic because we're 50 minutes in. Jumanji, I thought it was a really funny movie based off of video game premise, and I thought they handled it very, very well, and I love
did.
seeing that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think if this whole entire segment is about like video games, new in Hollywood, are they going to become the new comic book movie where comic books have been massively successul being adapted into movies?
Well, they've been
Some have been.
Yeah, that's I
Some.
wouldn't, yeah, because I think what you have there is it's 2-part. They have been massively successful, but then you have all these hangers on like DC that are like, well, let's try to mimic that success. Let's try to copy it.
Wait, I like money. We can
And
do
then,
this.
but they have no soul because
Yep.
they're just trying to make money. They're not trying to make a good movie.
And I think that's the key. Also with Ready Player One, it goes back to it. Video game movies will do well if you find directors and producers and writers who know and understand the source material.
That's fantastic.
I like that.
That was the key. The
Steven
DC
Spielberg.
Marvel thing kills me. I've done so much research. Like,
Well, Zack
how is
Snyder-
this possible? And Lynn just nailed it. The best line I've ever heard about it is they said that they get all these relatively no-name directors. I mean, they have done a lot of things, but Guardians of the Galaxy, what did James Gunn do before that?
Oh.
Exactly. What did half these people do? The line was Marvel found people that are fans of the source material.
Oh, Joss Whedon. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I think if you've seen, I think maybe you sent me this article on why Batman vs. Superman sucked so bad and why the whole DC universe sucks is because Zack Snyder was like, I'm going to do everything different. I'm going to make a Superman that doesn't like humanity.
Yep.
I'm going to make a Batman that doesn't really, that kills people. I'm going to make all these things. And it's like, okay, well then it's not Batman versus Superman. It's like you're trying to do a completely different thing with different heroes with the different names.
Zack Snyder's Superhuman versus Batperson.
I used to
it's
defend
just, it's not. It's not. I mean,
Guy versus
Lynn
Batman.
nailed it.
It's
Lynn
like
nailed it.
the Kroger brand of
Yes. Yes. That's
DC
exact.
Comics.
Marshmallow Mateys nailed it.
Yeah, but
Nailed
it's like
it.
if they were like, let's make Marshmallow Mateys, but make them completely different.
Barbed wire
darker.
for the
yeah,
toy.
you know what Marshmallow Mateys needed? It needed a jagged crustio.
Marshmallow Mateys.
Metal
Mateys,
Crustio.
but there's no marshmallows. Think of if Zack Snyder made your cereal. and then he peed in it.
Wait.
Yeah.
So no, I think you're absolutely right on that. I think we're gonna start seeing waves of video game IPs turned into movies.
There's
and
so many.
I
There's
think you're
so
gonna
many.
see so many sucky ones, and then I think you're gonna start seeing a few people do it right.
Yeah. So
Any
people are
quick
still kinda waiting for
predictions
that,
on
though.
on the first good video game movie? Lynn.
Lynn has
I actually
one.
looked this up. They're doing a Sonic movie. Have you heard this?
Oh gosh.
They're doing a Sonic movie. Here's why I have a wee bit of hope for it.
Okay.
TJ Miller, who produced Deadpool, and then also another
And
producer.
also swatted a woman on a
from-
train.
Yeah, he may or may not be involved with that anymore if he's in jail.
Keep going.
I'm up with news. And then also producer from the Fast and Furious movies are tied to the Sonic movie. That's what gives me
Naturally.
hope.
That sounds
because you're
interesting.
going
Crossover.
you're getting people who sort of understand the source material. Like everyone
this
knows
like
that
a
Sonic
live
now
action?
is kind of a joke. It's going to be a mixture of CGI and live action.
Which
Nice.
is
The
how
Sonic
they.
movie.
Yeah, that's how the games are. Is that there's real people.
Yeah. Okay.
But that gives me hope because Sonic is kind of a joke right now.
Oh, he's a huge joke.
Yeah. So get people who understand how to make a joke, but
Nice.
at the same time, probably have played a Sonic game before and don't assume that the moral of the story of Sonic is don't play video games.
Yeah.
We're gonna turn Sonic
Sonic gets
off on
the
Wednesdays and
Sonic gets the
Saturdays.
girl
They
at
turn
the
They turn
end
Sonic
and-
into a literal hedgehog, and they're like, "You don't run that fast, buddy. Just eat some carrots and stay in this cage.
Stay in your lane."
And that's how it ends. Way to go, Sonic! You're actually a hedgehog. That's so silly, and you're not blue anymore.
And you're not. Why are you even blue to start with?
Earth
The
tones,
end.
Earth tones.
Blue
Produced
hedgehogs
by
don't
Steven
exist.
Spielberg.
Or perhaps they can give like Sonic a tragic backstory. Oh, he already kind of has one. Like his forest home is being destroyed. Can we make like an R-rated Sonic?
I want you guys to think back.
I can, but it's not going to
Remember-
be because of tragedy. It's gonna be
Remember
something
when we did our
disgusting.
first movie-themed episode, and one of the bad pitch ideas we had was live-action Sonic?
They're
Really?
doing it. Oh my god.
They're just making everyone that we had listed on that
Yes.
sode.
Yes.
We got to be getting some royalties. I want a 50-cent check in the mail.
No, I think I've said this before, but what I want to see is a Fallout television show.
That'd be sick.
And
wouldn't
I
be that
want
hard.
I want it to be each
HBO.
season. It's got to be HBO.
Uh-huh.
Each season is we're not following a character. There's no Fallout character.
No.
Each season we're following the happenings of a new vault. Because the vaults are so wacky and weird and designed for the craziest crap, and each season is a new vault.
And I think you could introduce like this tiny little, because the comic elements, like Fallout, if you just sat down or walked by someone playing it, you'd think it was a super serious, post-apocalyptic, like everything's serious. But then there's like these crazy, goofy elements in it. There's the
Yep.
drugs and the nonsense and all the weird weapons and the aliens,
yeah.
and all this stuff. And so you see, I think being able to interject that it would make it different from everything else.
I think Fallout would be a great IP for something like that. I feel like just so many things, just like you guys are talking about in terms of Lynn. I just keep hearing Lynn. There's any video game. Just pick a video game. I feel like though the problem with Hollywood now is just like you guys said as well. We've exploited all the comic book stuff because that really was. You have the demographics. You have this rising generation who grew up with that, who would pay to go see that. Like my parents could give a crap about Superman or Batman or whomever, right?
Yeah, but they're not the main demo now.
Now I'm writing the mortgage check every month. Hey,
I am the captain now.
I have disposable income. Let's go ahead and do that. So, and I for sure will go see that kind of a movie.
The legs are right by my leg.
Well, if they're not moving. Peterson keeps kicking the table.
That's Peterson's thing. It's ridiculous.
You have like RLS, like that's okay.
Spencer, I just keep on hearing like I'm a white male, age 18 to 45.
Yeah,
Like, Phil, I'm taking
everyone
the
listens
ice-
to me.
Nuts
Cater
and
to
gums.
me.
Together at last.
Lynn is my favorite Simpsons friend. She's fantastic. The last thing is just Wreck-It Ralph. I'm really interested to see where the new Wreck-It Ralph's going to go. The first one was excellent.
Dynamite. So good.
I'm already giving it 4 stars. I know we're gonna love it. Everyone's gonna love it.
I'm interested. I'm interested to see how you follow up on this just incredible movie. Like, where do they take it?
Yeah.
So, as a sophomore film, as a number
didn't
2,
they say
I'm
they're
interested.
taking it to the internet or
internet.
whatever?
They get
Yeah.
Ralph goes to the internet.
Yeah.
It seems
Stay
less
away from
game focused.
4chan.
Yeah.
Ralph and Fortune.
Oh no!
So I will
Ralph
say,
gets
I think
internet
if we're
addiction.
doing predictions, I think we still got 5 to 10 years of a lot of really bad experiments before it settles down. Because think about, dude, the year before we got Batman Begins, we had Halle Berry's Catwoman. They were just throwing shit at a wall to see what would stick.
Yep.
And we're at the shit throwing phase. And we're like, because they were like, oh, we had 1999, we had like Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, and we didn't realize that it was god awful.
Oh my gosh!
But, you know, we're going to do Catwoman with Halle Berry, and we're going to do Spider-Man 3. We're going to do like, and so, but then we have Batman Begins, and then, you know, we have Batman vs. Superman. So I think we've got a long road
That's fair.
ahead of us, and it's paved with Sonic and Mario and
Well, also
Rampage.
Detective Pikachu.
Detective Pikachu.
That is also going to be a thing. There's a Minecraft movie because kids will merch and buy things.
there was an Angry Birds movie, which is the shit throwing
Yeah.
phase
Yeah.
right now.
Okay.
So
We'll see.
We'll see, but
There
I think,
you
I
go.
think
Go.
the problem is that it's so appealing because basically it's just an animator. They, you know, they're not SAG members, so you don't have to pay them. Like, who cares about an animator? So you replace and then you have a voice actor comes in for 2 days, and your film's
You
locked
just
up.
need a new Andy Serkis, and he can start playing all the characters.
Yeah, that's like it. So I think they're really appealing to Hollywood, which is the danger if you're doing animated movies like video game movies. So we'll see.
if they can make an emoji movie, they can make a better video game movie.
Which I've had,
Come
to,
on.
which
All
I've
right.
had to see parts of, and it is miserably
How?
bad.
Hey,
What
great
did you
kids.
do? What did you do?
My kids will turn on anything.
Did it?
Kids will turn on anything.
Is the poop emoji in that? Is it a character?
I didn't watch
He's
the
the
whole
bad
thing.
guy.
It's horrible.
I've seen the review.
Not the devil emoji.
Nope.
Okay, so we still need to do.
Do we? I feel like we should just end. The emoji movie, like we really circled the drain that far.
This is what happens when you invite me on the show.
Thanks, Lynn.
Well, we do have a to follow up on our Dice of Destiny, but we're kind of over. So
We'll do that next week.
We'll do it next week. Hint: Bit Heroes. If you haven't started playing it, I'm loving it. Peterson's loving
JD
it.
just learned how to play the game.
Peterson just taught me how to play the game, which is nice because it's my Dice of Destiny game.
With the Peterson tutorial.
he was
with
like, Peterson, start playing it. And I was like, okay. And then I had to teach him how to play it.
Wait,
Well,
you can do this?
Peterson
I didn't know
plays
that.
all day at work, and I have a job.
This game has an auto function. You don't even have to do anything. You just log in and like, okay, go do a mission. And you just hit auto. Like,
Yeah.
I'm playing all day. I'm sitting at my desk and I hit auto and then sit at my computer at work. And like, JD's acting like that's too much.
Can't do it.
It might be
no
for
drinks.
him.
I guess. I don't know. Okay, well.
Play with us, though.
Yeah. Come play with us. Bit Heroes. It's free. You can get it on Steam. You can get it on your phone. You can get it on anything. And it's an MMO, dungeon crawling MMO. It's fun. It's cool. So, anyway, that's it.
We'll do our full review next week, though.
Yeah, it'll be good. All right. That does it for us this week. And to play us out, I'm going to go dig up the theme from Rampage. That's going to be
It's
sick.
not
They don't
good.
even have a theme.
It's not good.
Is it not?
Can we do the theme from Wreck-It Ralph?
Is there a
We
theme?
talked Wreck-It. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you told me that.
Yeah, let's do Wreck-It Ralph theme. The Rampage theme is not good.
Yeah.
It's a junk IP. There's a reason Midway went bankrupt. And they didn't make Rampage 7.
There's a reason they went making this movie.
I'm going to get it on Blu-ray. I'm going to get it on Blu-ray. I'm going to pre-order it. I'm going to order 3 copies and tell them that you guys bought it. Send them to your house.
We'll give them away
Yeah,
as a
return.
gift.
Get ready, guys. In a month, you'll have free swag.
Rude. That's also rude to indicate it'll be out on DVD in a month.
Straight to Blu-ray.
Straight to
Super
video.
Huge thanks to Lynn for coming back on. And when they release the Ready Player 2, you'll have you back on to review that.
I think
Ready
I just
Player
kill
2?
myself.
The gaming Wade's kids version through
Wade's kids.
through entitlement
So-
school because he's super rich.
Yeah, they're so awful. They're just shitty. So, guys, if you haven't rated the podcast, hop on iTunes and throw us a 5-star rating. Subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. And if you ever want to hit us up, check us out on Twitter and Facebook at 3Bit Gamer Show. And our website you can check out is 3bitgamershow.com. It's very easy to remember. 3-Bit Gamer Show is a production of Broadway Media. Mike Wiest wrote our theme music, and our incredible Dylan?
The incredible Dylan.
The incredible Dylan? Our producer.
Therapist Dylan.
Our therapist Dylan therapized us. And he works with us and gives us suggestions. I'm JD, logging off.
This is Peterson going AFK.
This is Lynn saying something.
Oh, sorry.
She does have a catchphrase, and she's a regular on this show.
I
That's
sure
what she
do.
does.
No, this is Lynn going into the Oasis. Oh, wait, I can't. It's Thursday.
Oh, nailed it. Well, because the Oasis is shut down, I'm going to go have to work on my 3 Ninjas dummy, and I'm going to kick it in the armpit. Good night.